In other news, Kenyans have been urged to use antibiotics appropriately in a bid to reduce antimicrobial resistance in the country. According to the Antimicrobial Stewardship Committee chairperson at the Kenyatta National Hospital Dr. Loice Ombajo, the global crisis threatens to reverse the progress the country has made in the field of medicine. Pauline Nasimiu with the details.
Antimicrobial resistance has emerged as one of the greatest challenges to modern medicine.
Antimicrobial resistance, and what that means is that bacteria no longer respond to the commonly used antibiotics.
According to Dr. Loice Ombajo, the chair of the Antimicrobial Stewardship Committee at the Kenyatta National Hospital, said this global crisis threatens to reverse the progress the country has made in the field of medicine.
So as a country, we may not be in a very good place. It's only that AMR has not received a lot of attention. This bacteria is probably about maybe more than 50% resistant to some of the commonest antibiotics that we use, like ceftriaxone. And the main thing that's driving this resistance is the amount of antibiotics we use.
The threat, according to the health experts, has increased over the years, leading to a rise in the mortality rate.
Antimicrobial resistance is increasing to a level where it's actually becoming a pandemic because of the number of people who die from antimicrobial resistance. There's a recent study that estimated that the mortality associated with antimicrobial resistance just in 1 year, 2019, was about 5 million people. Imagine that's higher even than the mortality that was caused by COVID in 1 year.
The mortality rate has led the experts to come up with two types of guidelines, namely surgical prophylaxis and empirical antimicrobial therapy guidelines.
So it gives guidance on which types of antibiotics and when to use them for different types of surgery. So that's the first guideline we've launched today. The second one is about antibiotic use for different infections. So as I said earlier, if someone comes with pneumonia, what antibiotic do you use? If someone comes with a urine infection or a skin infection, what antibiotics do you use? So those are the two guidelines that we have launched today.
The country has been urged to move away from the habits that drive inappropriate use of antibiotics, such as prescribing antibiotics for self-limiting viral infections. This is as Kenyatta National Hospital, in collaboration with the University of Nairobi's Department of Faculty of Health Science, launched antibiotic use guidelines that will reduce the increase of antimicrobial resistance in patients. Misuse and overuse of antimicrobial are the main drivers in the development of drug-resistant pathogens. Applying these antibiotic use guidelines will go a long way to stop the resistance. Pauline Nasimiu for Channel One News, Nairobi.